the audience or the discussions, the numbers that they may be. To begin with, let me compliment the CLBA for, once again, has been done a number of times in the morning, for organizing this conference. And I think, personally, I feel that this particular session on mergers is extremely timely, as I can share with you, the Commission is in the process of having a look at its regulations once again. As you may be aware that during 2015-16, we amended our regulations twice. Basically, the Commission itself felt that there were inconsistencies, there were in fact shortcomings, and the requirements of a painless combination regime needed certain changes. Well, we made those changes. We are again having a look, and in fact, before finalizing them, we would be putting them on the public domain for your comments. As you're aware, and I think it's in the program itself, that the Commission till now has looked at nearly 450 plus combination notices, out of which nearly 430 have been approved. 3 went in for phase 2, where in fact the Commission cleared all 3 of them. We haven't blocked any till now, and with certain structural remedies, they too were cleared. Now, I just want to make one thing very clear, that I remember when, of course, the Act is nearly, it came into force in 2009, and well, it was said that though it was enacted in 2002, it actually got its teeth in 2000. 2002 it was enacted, but got its teeth in 2009, but then let's say the merger bite came only in 2011. And it's not even been sort of 6 years, but well, we moved fast, we've learned. And even at that point in time, since I was in the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and there were issues whether the sections need to be notified and the regulations need to be looked at. I remember there was a lot of back and forth that one was doing with the industry chambers and associations. And finally, of course, after having convinced the industry that, well, we'll try and make the merger control regime as painless, as convenient as possible, keeping in view the Raghavan Committee's recommendations in mind, we went ahead. I may share with you, of course, that recently only we have put the 40 FAQs which have been put on the Commission's website, though they are not guidance notes per se, but then to a great extent they do provide some sort of a guidance. We have one issue which used to take a lot of time earlier, was the issue of confidentiality. I think the last 3 or 4 months we have decided to accept things as they come. Whatever is being filed as confidential, the Commission has been accepting it, saying that in terms for the present, we accept it in terms of these requirements of Section 57. So for purposes of the section, as and when we need to look at this confidentiality, we'll go by what the section says. Similarly, you may have noticed that on the non-compete side, where there were issues earlier, we are now trying to come out with a guidance note as to what would be a non-compete, what would qualify, and the thinking in the Commission is that in case the filing of non-compete is as per the guidance, then in the order that we issue, we will not touch non-compete, but where we feel that it is not in accordance with the guidelines or the guidance notes, we may say that, well, this is not ancillary to the proposed combination. But the point is that we would not be spending great time on these, because we do understand and appreciate that there's a cost to this time, and of course, in terms of ease of doing business, we need to move ahead. We also do recognize the fact that as we move ahead, there will be more and more merger filings, there will be more complex filings, there will be areas that we've not been looking at previously, they will be tricky. The entire thing of ease of doing business, we've also seen that the PE investments are now, the notices are coming in much larger numbers. So the basic point that I'm trying to say is that in the Commission there is a great understanding and recognition that we need to simplify things and move ahead. Now there's, in fact there was an item in this, that's something on automation. I may also share with you that we are preparing it's a software, but which says that what is not required to be filed, and if something is required to be filed, then the various steps that you need to go into. So it's something of a do-it-yourself kit, but that doesn't sort of mean, I mean, there'll be a disclaimer, of course, that the software doesn't mean that at the end of the day, the parties can come and say that, well, since we went through this software, we were not clear, we could not, I mean, our understanding was this, so that's the reason we did not file. That, of course, cannot be. But yes, there would be something to facilitate and help in terms of understanding, but also that doesn't mean that you need not come for a pre-filing consultation. Pre-filing consultation, the window is always there for the firms to come and discuss. Having said that, now let me have the pleasure of introducing our guests from overseas. Mr. Johan van Acker on my immediate left. Mr. Acker is a partner in the Brussels office of Van Biel and Bellis. His practice focuses on EU and Belgian competition law with particular focus on merger control. He has successfully assisted clients in numerous merger cases before the European Commission and national competition authorities. On the left of Johan is Geert. Geert is a partner in Sherman and Sterling, Brussels. He advises in all areas of EU competition, merger and regulatory law. He is qualified to practice law in Belgium as well as in England and Wales, and holds an LLM in European law. I don't think the two panelists on my right, that's Shweta and Samir, and Raj Shekhar on the extreme left, needs any introduction, except to say that whereas they've been appearing before the Commission, they've been appearing for the Commission as well. Now, we had discussed amongst ourselves as to how to move ahead in this discussion, trying to keep it short and focused and more interactive. There are going to be, what we've worked out is 3 specific questions. Then there are 3 or 4 areas of discussion, because in the Commission we keep getting these issues raised by the firms time and again, and we thought that if they are discussed amongst the panelists and the audience, probably in the Commission itself we may have greater clarity and understanding in how to look at them, and in case it's required, we may try and bring about some change in the regulations. These issues which have been raised time and again are acquisition of minority interest. Then is the concept of gun jumping, yet again, which has not been discussed, been raised with the Commission, but probably must have been raised outside, must have been a point of discussion amongst the firms, is appealing merger decisions. And then, yes, something which has been of great interest to the firms, and they've been sort of hammering and badgering us time and again, is on this entire concept of enterprise versus business division that the Commission needs to be looking at while looking at de minimis exemptions. So we have these 4 areas, and I'm going to put these areas to each of the panelists as we decide amongst ourselves. They would speak on them for 4 to 5 minutes, or whatever lesser time they feel comfortable. Once we've discussed those, then we'll discuss the questions and then open it up for question and answers. Now, the first question or the area of discussion is the acquisition of minority interest. And I would open it up first to Shweta and then take as to how is this being viewed at in the European Union or in other jurisdictions outside India. So Shweta, can I now open the subject for you for your views, acquisition of minority interest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for